Hello everyone, my name is David. Today we are going to take a look at another scary story with you. The incident in today's story took place in the Indore district of Madhya Pradesh, India, and Nikita, a girl, witnessed and shared the details of the incident with her friend Prachi. Nikita is the eyewitness to what happened, why it happened, and how it happened in that incident. This story dates back to approximately 4 years ago when Nikita passed her 12th board exams with a score of 94.6%. Nikita had a dream to pursue further studies in a big city, and her parents fully supported her. She received a 50% scholarship on her college fees at a well-known university in Indore. Additionally, her accommodation was provided for free, along with a monthly allowance of 1,200 Indian rupees to cover her expenses. Nikita got admission to the university, and everything went smoothly. In Indore, her cousins were also there, and she had a great bond with them. When Nikita shifted to Indore, where her cousins lived, everything settled smoothly because her cousins knew everything there. She got a room in the girls' hostel within the university. Basically, the hostel had 5 floors, with 4 floors open and the 5th floor closed for some unknown reason. In the girls' hostel, there was a corridor in the middle, with 5 rooms on both sides. One room housed 2 girls, and in the room allotted to Nikita, there was another girl named Prachi. They became roommates, and their nature was almost similar. Therefore, they developed a strong bond as their courses and interests aligned. Both were in the same stream, lived together, explored, and shared similar interests in paranormal activities. Watching movies, listening to stories, and watching paranormal horror podcasts were their daily habits. As time passed slowly, they discovered that the 5th floor of their hostel was closed. Someone mentioned that there's a room on the hostel's 5th floor that has always been closed, and it's believed to house a lingering spirit. These people lived on the 3rd floor, but since learning about the 5th floor, their curiosity surged. Nikita also enjoyed horror stuff, but her simple principle was not to delve into exploratory experiences in horror until you have knowledge. Going just to explore could be harmful, but Prachi hadn't heard horror stories and was cautious about such things too. Prachi told Nikita, "Come on, let's go upstairs and see what's going on. Why is the 5th floor closed? People say there's a spirit. I don't believe it. If it's true, it'll be a lifelong experience for us." Nikita clearly told her, "Look, watch the movie, listen to the podcast. It's a no-go there, okay? And if you try to go, I'll call your family and let them know what you're up to. This should end here," but it didn't. Anyway, Prachi understood that Nikita wouldn't go to that floor, so she didn't insist. Time passed, the matter was forgotten. Exams finished, there was a 1-week holiday after exams. In Nikita's village, there's a deity called Dulha Dev. There was a big puja there, so Nikita had to go. She asked Prachi to come along, but Prachi had decided not to go home during the holidays. So she told Nikita, "No, I won't go. I'll stay right here." Because Prachi was very excited about something, she wanted Nikita to leave quickly. Well, Nikita left, returned after 7 days, and met Prachi again. When she met Prachi, she noticed behavioral changes in her. The Prachi who was very extroverted and talkative had become quite calm and reserved. So she thought there might be some personal or family issues. Nikita didn't pay much attention, but she did notice the vibes of that room. The room's vibes had become strange, the atmosphere became heavy, and negativity seeped in. It felt like even if you wanted to concentrate on something, you couldn't. An odd feeling kept recurring. Anyway, Prachi ignored all of this, thinking that maybe she had come back after spending 7 to 8 days outside the village, so these things were happening for some reason, creating a strange environment sometimes. Well, but real things began after 2 or 3 days. After 2 or 3 days, after having dinner at mess at night, Nikita was inside her room. Prachi was probably somewhere else, and Nikita, sitting, was looking at her phone. She was lying on the bed when suddenly she heard the sound of water running from the bathroom of her room. So her attention goes to the sound of the tap. She gets up and goes near the bathroom, opening the gate because Prachi was not there. So in the bathroom, who could it be? She saw that the tap was closed. The bathroom floor was completely dry. But she knew that she had heard the sound of the tap opening and water falling. It could be her imagination, or maybe the sound came from another room, so she ignored it. The next morning, when Nikita opened her eyes, she heard the sound of a girl crying. The sound was coming from the bathroom, so Nikita was surprised and got up to find out why Prachi was crying. She went to the bathroom door, knocked, but it was locked from the inside. She asked, "What happened, Prachi? Why are you crying?" There was no response from inside, only the sound of crying. She kept knocking and asking, "What happened, Prachi? Tell me, why are you crying?" Suddenly, Prachi was coming from the main gate of the room. Nikita was completely shocked. She asked, "Where were you?" Prachi replied, "I was outside wandering." Nikita checked the bathroom. The crying had stopped. She tried to open the gate, and it was now unlocked. No one was inside, and her senses were not working. She looked back and said, "I heard someone crying from inside." Prachi's reaction was quite normal. She told Nikita, "You're crazy, crying sounds, your mind is messed up," and left after saying that. Prachi had left, but Nikita sensed a strange fear in her eyes. Anyway, what could she do? They were both sitting together at night. Their beds were separate. Both were reading, meaning Nikita was doing her work, and Prachi was sitting on her bed across. Prachi was deep in thought. Nikita wanted to ask her something, but she lacked the courage now because a bit of fear of Prachi had started to creep in. Over the past few days, Nikita had observed that whenever she tried to talk to Prachi, approached her for a discussion, a bitterness would appear on Nikita's face. An odd fear had started to develop in her. So, quietly, she covered herself with her blanket and went to sleep. When she slept, she saw an old man in her dream, dressed in white clothes. This was the description of her dream deity. Since she returned home almost every day, she had this dream. Nikita was sleeping, suddenly hearing a loud scream. The sound of people screaming made her open her eyes. She got up and looked on Prachi's bed, but Prachi wasn't there. Nikita rushed outside and looked around. After leaving their room and passing 2 more rooms, almost all the girls from the hostel were standing outside a room's gate, screaming rapidly. Prachi opened the door, and Nikita asked what happened. The girls said, "Nikki, your roommate Prachi was running like crazy, screaming in the hostel. And Prachi went into this room, locked herself, and we've been shouting, but she's not opening the door." Nikita was completely in shock. Words couldn't come out of her mouth. Imagine your friend. Who is your close friend in such a situation? What would be your state? Now, at that moment, their hostel warden arrived, took issue with the guards, and as soon as the gate was broken, everyone's eyes widened in shock. In front, Prachi, with a scarf in her hands, was attempting to hang herself from the fan, and as everyone saw her, she screamed loudly. Pulling the life out of her lungs, she tried to break free from the grip of the guards and other girls, attempting to escape directly from the room. At that time, those who saw her noticed Prachi's disheveled hair, a menacing look on her face. Her legs were dislocated, and as she screamed and tried to escape, guards and other girls quickly caught her. 5 or 6 people together held her, and even with the combined control of those 5 or 6 people, she couldn't be subdued. She had acquired superhuman strength. She wasn't saying anything, but with determination, she was trying to free her hand from the grasp of people. Nikita couldn't figure out what to do here. Suddenly, the idea of the protective thread tied during a village ritual came to her mind. Without hesitation, she found one in her room, originally meant for her cousin, and tied it around her friend Prachi's wrist. As soon as she secured the thread, Prachi fainted on the spot. After that, those people brought Prachi into the room, laid her down, and lightly tied her with her own scarf to the bed so she wouldn't try to escape again. Prachi's parents were informed, and they came there. After their arrival, Nikita explained everything to them. So Prachi's home was only 25 kilometers away from the hostel. Prachi's parents took her with them, and after that, Nikita tried to contact Prachi for 3 to 4 days, but there was no reply. Then, after 3 to 4 days, Prachi's mother answered the phone, and Nikita asked about Prachi. Her mother explained that some rituals had been performed for Prachi, and she is fine, but she has a fever. Throughout this incident, Nikita stayed in touch with Prachi's mother, but direct communication with Prachi was not possible. 1 month later, Prachi returned. Upon her return, families of Nikita and Prachi discussed and concluded that keeping the girls in the hostel is not safe. Therefore, they decided to complete their college course. Since there is still college left, they arranged an apartment near the college for them to stay. Both friends shifted from the hostel to the nearby apartment and never returned to the hostel again. Just as you might be thinking, Nikita's mind was going through the same thoughts. Let me tell you what happened and what unfolded. But before that, please do like the video. And now let's dive into the story. So both of them shifted to the apartment in a normal way. Nikita didn't disturb Prachi for a few days because she wanted her friend to be completely fine. When Prachi became normal, one day they were sitting together and Nikita asked her, "Hey Prachi, tell me what happened there." So she explained, "When you refused to go to the 5th floor, I was a bit upset because I felt that you would have the same excitement as I did. But after you left, I had another new friend who I talked to about that room and she was ready to go there. So both of us planned to explore there because if you were here, you wouldn't let me go. When Nikita goes to her village on vacation, we'll explore the 5th floor." Then she continued, "The day Nikita went to her village, on that night, after everyone had fallen asleep, both friends went to 5th floor. It was dark there, but for them, it was paranormal. But there was a very negative and dense feeling there. So the other girl, Prachi, who went with them, got anxious shortly after arriving and said, 'Dude, Prachi, I feel really weird and scared. Let's go back.' So Prachi said, 'Are you crazy? We have such a good opportunity, let's explore.' She said, 'No man, I'm really scared.' So Prachi said, 'You stay here, I'll go to that room everyone talks about.' Upon reaching there, she saw that the room was locked, but the lock had a struggle. Prachi pulled the lock a few times and it opened. She opened the room and saw that it was completely dark, very dirty, and had a strange negative vibe. After spending some time in her dorm room, Prachi began to feel scared too. When she came out of the room and reached the other girl, Prachi approached her and said, "Hey, it's nothing. People about that room just talk nonsense. There's nothing at all. The room is too much dirty from inside, and all these are just rumors." After saying this, Prachi told the girl, "Come on, let's go." Both descended the stairs 3 times faster than they had come, went straight into their room, and went to sleep. Nothing happened that night. The next day, nothing happened either. However, the following night when Prachi slept, she had a dream. The dream was entirely realistic. In the dream, Prachi was walking in the hallway of the 5th floor when she heard a girl crying from behind. She turned around to see a girl sitting behind a chair crying. Prachi saw that the girl had her face towards the wall. She had her head resting above her knees and was sobbing. She was wearing the same clothes that Urvi had worn when entering the room the night before. Prachi asked her, "What happened, Urvi? Why are you crying?" Prachi placed her hand on Urvi's shoulder, and suddenly, the girl turned straight towards Prachi. Prachi realized that the girl wasn't Urvi. Her face was extremely eerie, with no eyebrows or nose, just a face resembling an animated character. With a strange smile, the girl frightened Prachi. Prachi tried to run, but she was frozen in place as if she were on a treadmill. Then she screamed, "Help! Help!" Her eyes opened and she felt that this dream was too realistic. After that, she couldn't sleep again that day. The next day, Prachi felt, well, a strange sensation. She was very anxious, and now she felt like someone was continuously watching her. She went straight to her friend Urvi and told her about the dream. "This happened with me. Did something happen to you?" Urvi replied, "No, buddy. Nothing like that happened to me. But I warned you not to go into that room. Come back with me." Now, Prachi couldn't understand what was happening. She struggled through her day. At night, she slept, and as soon as she fell asleep, the dream came back. This time, the girl came to her and spoke within the dream. "You came from there. Come with me. I'm so alone there. Come with me." Saying this, she started laughing very fast, and as soon as she started laughing, Prachi's eyes opened suddenly, and she was drenched in sweat. But this dream was no less than a real event for Prachi. It felt like someone had taken control of her mind, and a visualization, like a movie, was playing in front of her. Prachi was pondering about how she was having dreams like this when there were 2 knocks on her gate, making her anxious. She didn't have the courage to go out, but when there was another knock, she thought someone might be there as she had screamed in her sleep. So, Prachi went to the gate, opened it, but found no one. It felt strange to her. Deep down, she knew something was off, closed the gate, and went back to her room, thinking she might have made the biggest mistake of her life. From the next day, she started seeing shadows from the corner of her eye, knocks on her room gate. When she was in the bathroom, there was a knock on the bathroom gate, and when she was alone in the room, she felt someone was knocking her gate from outside. Things started getting unnerving for her. Next night, when Prachi went to sleep again, she had the same dream, but this time in the dream, she wasn't on the 5th floor. She was inside her room. She saw in the dream that the same girl sitting near the corner by her bed was crying and saying, "I'm very lonely here. People have locked me in here. I'm very lonely here. Come with me." Just then, Prachi woke up. As her eyes opened, she was lying facing the wall with her hand on her head, unable to turn around. Her hand was in severe pain, and she was struggling to move. Slowly, Prachi managed to turn around and saw that the girl from her dream was exactly sitting in the same spot where she had seen her in the dream. Upon seeing her, Prachi was completely frozen. The girl was looking at her and smiling. Prachi's senses were not working at all. Her face couldn't express anything, and tears started falling from Prachi's eyes. She was completely helpless, unable to do anything. Just then, that girl stood up from her place, taking a front roll and again roll, stood directly above her bed, and started playing with Prachi. She laughed rapidly, moving close to Prachi's face, and then stepping back, creating a mysterious rhythm. Prachi couldn't comprehend anything. It felt as if she had become paralyzed. Then, out of nowhere, a thought struck her mind. She closed her eyes and silently began remembering God. She was experiencing every moment like a cool breeze from the girl coming near her, then suddenly moving away. Prachi took the name of God for a long time. It's unknown for how long she continued chanting, and then suddenly, Prachi screamed loudly. As soon as she screamed loudly, her scream echoed throughout the hostel. Upon hearing her scream, many girls came out of their rooms and started banging on her door. The girl who was sitting above Prachi, as soon as the door started banging, got up, went straight to the bathroom, or rather, ran towards the bathroom. When those girls opened the gate and came to Prachi, they asked her what happened. Prachi turned towards the bathroom gate and there that girl was standing. She placed her index finger on her lips in a way that signified silence, and Prachi was visibly shaken. She didn't tell anyone anything, just said, "No, nothing. I just had a bad dream." After that, Prachi understood that she wasn't alone in the room. Whoever it was also staying with them, and their place was in the bathroom. Prachi told those girls that she was feeling a bit scared and asked if she could sleep with one of them. So they said, "Yes, come with us." She went to another girl and slept in her room. On her next day back home, when Nikita returned, Prachi explained, "You came back, and after your arrival, the spirit that was there didn't enter the room. It either stayed in the bathroom or roamed outside, causing disturbances to me. Sometimes it would come to her crying, and sometimes it would laugh. Even would talk to her saying, 'Come with me, both of us stay upstairs. I'm lonely there and we'll have fun together.' And told to Prachi this girl, meaning Nikita, to drive her away from here. Prachi also mentioned that she used to say, 'Drive away this old man. He doesn't let me enter this room.' Prachi didn't understand which old man she was talking about. Then Nikita recalled and said, 'I tied the thread of my family deity and came here, and I see him in my dreams every day. Perhaps that's why she used to tell you to drive away this old man, because he whom I used to see inside the white kurta was our family deity, and here Nikita's faith in her family deity became even stronger because what Prachi was revealing, Nikita had no clue about. Then Nikita asked Prachi, "What happened that day when you were running away like that inside the hostel?" So Prachi replied, "I don't remember much. I was asleep at night. I felt like someone was calling me. I didn't want to get up, but I woke up on my own, opened the room door, and as soon as I reached the hall, I saw that girl. She was laughing loudly when she saw me, and after that, she doesn't remember anything. When she woke up, she was tied to the bed, and Prachi's parents had taken her with them. A thread was tied to her hand, so Nikita explained, "Yes, I gave you that thread, and I told your parents to untie it when you go inside your house, because that thread is our family deity's thread." Prachi then explained that as soon as we reached home, the thread unraveled from my hands. The girl's spirit returned to me, and she took control of me. Prachi's mom later told Nikita about all the events. Whatever conversation took place between them, meaning Nikita was also informed. So she was told how, as the protective shield opened from her hands, the girl took control of her again. Prachi started pushing everyone away, went straight to the kitchen, and entered inside. She picked up a knife and attempted to harm herself. In a strange way, she would sometimes burst into laughter and sometimes start crying. She tried to harm herself. With great difficulty, Prachi's family members caught her, sat her on a chair, and tied the thread. And then there were some knowledgeable priests. They summoned those priests there. The priests arrived, saw the situation, set up their ritual paraphernalia, and began reciting their mantras. On the other side, Prachi was sitting, watching the priest and laughing as if she had no fear at all. She was saying, "Give me meat, I want to eat meat," and behaving in a very strange manner. Meanwhile, the priests were reciting their mantras, and after about an hour and a half of effort, the priest relinquished the weapons. He said, "I cannot handle this. It's a very powerful spirit. I cannot remove it from its body, but there is a Baba just over 2 hours away who can cure it." It was already 4:50 in the evening, and he said, "As soon as possible, take it to him. He will be able to fix it." So Prachi's family said, "In this situation, how can we take her?" Pandit Ji said, "All right, I'll talk to that Baba. You all leave from here." He guided them to the location, shared the address with the Baba, and made the call. The Baba also got ready to come. Prachi's relatives went to pick him up and brought him back. As soon as he stepped inside the house, Prachi's behavior changed completely. An odd fear appeared on her face. Looking at him, she felt that perhaps this Baba could control her, so she tried to escape by getting up from there. She was tied with a rope, but she managed to break it and started running. With difficulty, 5 or 6 people caught her and restrained her. The Baba began performing a ritual. Then the Baba asked her, "Tell me who you are. What do you want? Why are you troubling that girl?" So the sprite inside Prachi was very manipulative. Did she turn completely straight? "No, I'm not bothered by it. I'm not doing anything. It just came to me." Then Baba sprinkled something on her, and she struggled intensely, as if she had been hurt. Baba, in a fit of anger, asked her, "Who are you?" She revealed, "My name is Sheena, and I have been confined in that room for many years. That's how I came to be here. When she came into that room and opened it, I became free, and now I will take her with me, because I am very lonely there. I have no one with me. Now, she is my friend." Then she burst into tears and said, "I would have taken her with me long ago, but that girl, Nikita, and that old man came in between, or else it wouldn't have happened with you guys until now." Then she suddenly changed and said, "When I got the chance, I returned to him, and now I will stay here with him. I am very lonely. I won't trouble him." So she was repeatedly manipulating and changing her statements. Baba understood that she was playing a drama. After that, he started his rituals. He filled the sprout with the ash from the ritual, recited mantras with closed eyes, and sealed the sprout in a container. He tied a red cloth over it with a thread and told Prachi's father This came from where she was. You have to take it back there. Essentially, they had to keep it in the same room within the girls' hostel. They locked it up, and she stayed back in the same place where it was initially bound. Around 3:30 a.m., Prachi's father, along with Baba and others, reached the hostel with the urn. After discussing placing the urn there, it was put back in that room, locked, and Prachi is fine now. So this incident happened with Prachi. How did you find this story? Do let me know in the comments section. And if you're interested in such stories, subscribe to the David Scary Stories channel. Thank you.